Just in case my suitcase doesn't arrive, not only will I be left with no clean underwear, but on top of that I will feel like dog excrements because I don't have my medication with me. Hi folks, it's Uranus. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to tell you how I've been traveling with hormones for years, by plane, by car or by public transportation. And we're starting right now. So first things first, I'm not going to talk about anything illegal here. If you want to travel with trenbolone, pills that you shouldn't be taking or stuff for cattle, that is your own responsibility. What I will be focusing about is traveling with doctors prescribed hormonal replacement therapy. I've been on all sorts of hormones for the past 8 years and I've had to travel a lot for business or for holidays. I'm on testosterone, HCG, growth hormone and thyroid medication. So when I'm traveling, I need to take with me pills, ampoules, syringes, alcohol to disinfect and stuff like that. And on top of that, some of the stuff needs to be refrigerated like growth hormone, and that is my biggest problem when traveling. Before we start, and this is very important, when I'm traveling by any means possible and I have my medication with me, I always have this document with me signed by my endocrinologist. Of course, I remove the details of my doctors on this paper, but the document states that for a duration of 6 months or a year, I am allowed to travel with the stuff I need and my needles. The rest is professional secrecy and no one is allowed to ask me why I'm on these medications. I'll get to that later in the video. If I'm leaving for long, I will also take a copy of my prescriptions just in case. So how exactly am I traveling with my hormones? Let's start with the easy one, traveling by car. I've traveled all over Europe with a simple hatchback and with an electric car cooler plugged in the back of my car. So between the schnitzels and the wine, usually you will find a Tupperware with my growth hormone and my HCG. You always gotta travel with schnitzels, man. My girlfriend is responsible for feeding the driver every 3 hours. Coming back to the hormones, my growth hormones come in cartridges and one cartridge is enough for 15 days, so usually when I'm leaving I have enough with one cartridge. It also costs a fortune, so you bet I'm checking every 45 minutes if my cooler in the back is still well plugged in and if it's still working. My cooler is also quite large and it works really well. There's a gauge on it and you can choose the temperature and it works really well. I always also pack some liquid in there, like 2 or 3 bottles of water. Why? Because the liquid will keep the cooler cool for a longer period of time. So when I'm having a break or when I'm finally having my picnic, I can just leave my gear in the car, in the cooler, and it will stay cool for just about 1 hour thanks to the water in there. Also, don't forget to unplug your cooler when you're leaving the car, because mine, for example, does not shut off, and if I don't unplug it, I won't have any battery anymore. When I'm traveling by car, it mostly means I'm going to hotels or I'm sticking to Airbnb places, and I'm always checking before if they have a fridge. If they don't, I can just take my car cooler and plug it in anywhere I want. For the rest of the hormones and the syringes, I'm usually just using these Ziploc bags to keep everything nice and organized. The rest of my medication can just go in my regular suitcase, but I also always check that the car never runs too hot inside of it. Testosterone in Europe comes in ampoules and I always see that I have enough testosterone with me and also some backup ampoules just in case I'm clumsy, because you really don't want to run out of testosterone when you're on holiday with your girl, you know? So that's by car. By plane, it's a little bit more complicated because you have to pass security and customs. Here, I never store my medication in the suitcase that is going in the cargo, but I always keep it in my backpack. Because just in case my suitcase doesn't arrive, not only will I be left with no clean underwear, but on top of that, I will feel like dog excrements because I don't have my medication with me. The key to passing security and customs without any problem is to have everything nicely packed and separated into these Ziploc bags. And you remember that paper I showed you from my doctor? Well, usually I just put it inside one of those Ziploc bags with my medication and my syringes. They are allowed to ask for that paper and check it, but they are not allowed to ask you you. Any questions that is between you and your doctor. I have to say I've only traveled by plane here in Europe and I have never had a single problem with security or la douane, the customs. To be honest, I'm always a little bit stressed when I reach customs and security. I don't know why. Ever since I'm a kid, this alarm thing is always going off when I'm passing by and I'm always stressed. I have to really remove my belt, remove everything from my pockets. I always get body checked, you know, and I have to keep an eye on my stuff going through the machine too. So I'm always a bit nervous, but generally, even I'm traveling with needles and medication, everything is always fine.
Gate number 7.
Regarding the hormones that need to be refrigerated, like my growth hormone or my HCG, I use a special traveling bag that is supposed to keep my medication cool for up to 24 hours. You can buy these in your local pharmacy or on Amazon. Well, the 24 hours is probably more marketing talk, but as I've only traveled in Europe so far by plane now, I usually reach my destination in less than 12 hours and everything is always nice and cool. Always check the rules of the company you're flying with and always check the rules of the country you're going through. Normally, ice packs for cooling medication are not a problem at all, but just check it to be sure. Also, usually I'm always using liquid alcohol for disinfecting my injection zones, and then when I'm traveling by plane, of course, I don't take this with me and I just use alcohol swabs. By train, it's exactly the same story. Everything is well organized and packed in Ziploc bags. The stuff that needs to be refrigerated is in a special cooling bag, and I have my papers from my doctors. I also often take my prescriptions with me just in case. Also, another small tip, if you're taking hormones with you, leave them in the original container so that if they check, it's in the original container and you don't have any problems. So that's how I travel with my hormones. I hope I was able to help someone. Let me know in the comments if you're traveling with medication and if you already had some bad experience or other experiences you want to share. Subscribe if you like my content, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Uranus out.